Last time on Races to Places, the boys completed their crossing of the Simpson Desert safely and arrived in Birdsville. So, back in Australia, after a successful rally, surely the first thing he'll do is crack open a tinny and get the barbecue on.
Landed here back in Australia, in the south of Australia in Adelaide, and finally reunited with Basil. Lots of bits and pieces missing from the bike. Literally had a couple of days just to strip it down to get everything sorted. But now I've got the mammoth task of putting the bike together. So what are we doing? Well, first of all, we're putting all the bits on that I serviced while I was back in the UK, but we also have a huge box here with a new gearbox, Nova Racing wide ratio transmission for the bike, which means a complete engine rebuild. What we've got here is a new cylinder and cylinder head that I prepared back in the UK. So I'm going to be trying this, the new 723 Golden Tyre front tyre in Australia. See there, it's a pretty nice kind of 50-50 tyre. Looking forward to using it. This new showy Carnet Adventure. My favourite tool. The guys knew I was rebuilding my engine and they got me my snap-on tool scent.
Oh yeah, this is a really special tool. Wait one moment. This is my favourite tool. This is a snap-on tech wrench.
And when I say a full strip down, I mean even the engine and gearbox out. To which he'll be fitting a brand new wide ratio gearbox from Nova Racing, and then he'll rebuild the engine, taking it from a 690 to a 730cc, giving more power when Basil feels like stretching his legs. If you've ever watched the very first episodes of Races to Places, you'll see where Lyndon acquired his engineering skills. His father Robin runs a successful rally car engineering company, specialising in historic cars. As I mentioned, Basil will be rebuilt as a 730cc engine.
There we go. One engine out. Joys of rebuilding your engine in an unfamiliar garage and an unfamiliar place, thousands of kilometers from home, is that you have to keep going out to find tools and equipment and things that you need. Just called at the post office and picked up a new Carnet De Passage for Basil bike, which is a bit like Basils Passport. Last time I got it from the RAC in the UK. Much cheaper to get it from the ADAC in Germany, as I've now discovered. So yeah, now I need to get the old one closed off and this new Carnet De Passage endorsed, and for that requires a trip to the customs office.
I love watching Lyndon work on Basil. To some people, bike maintenance can be a chore, whereas to Mr. Poskitt, it seems like therapy.
Just warming the bearing removal tool up. That's how to remove the main bearing to put it on the other crankshaft. Have to let that one cool down. So one thing you need when travelling on a motorcycle is a Carnet De Passage. Typically a Carnet De Passage, it depends which countries you go through, for entry and exit of the motorcycle, to prove that you entered the country with the bike, and more importantly to prove that you've exited with it and not sold it, lost it, had it stolen. When I set off I didn't have one because the first few countries that I went through, specifically Europe and across into Asia, you didn't actually need a Carnet De Passage, so I didn't have one. When I did get one, I got it from the RSC in the UK, and I've just been down the customs office this morning to get the new one endorsed and to get the old one signed off, so I can return this to the UK, and then I can get a partial refund for the cost of the Carnet from the UK. And with the German one, it's on a deposit based system, so it works out cheaper in the long run, although you have to fork out more money in the instance. Got the bearing in there. It's now warmed up because of the heat transfer, and then we simply just slide it on here until it's fully home, like this. Hold it for a bit, and then remove the tool. Hopefully to leave the bearing behind, like so. That's it, main bearing. So this really is the only bearing that was feeling a little bit dodgy. It's very hot, so I can't touch it. Just had a little bit of a grind to it, so changed it out for a new one. See it there.
Working his way through the bike to the brakes.
50 pin. As you see, the piston's been machined here to allow the valves to miss it, because it's a special piston for this 730 engine. What I need to do is just double check that the valves or the squish and everything, all the measurements are right. So. On charge overnight, and then tomorrow is the moment of truth. See if it works, and then we can go riding in Australia. Here we are, just about to pull up at Competition Conversions, which is the dyno place. They are here.
As you can see, the gentleman at the controls of Basil is stretching his legs through the rev range to identify any problems with the fueling of his engine. Next time on Races to Places, it's time to shred the trails on enduro bikes and Basil get some final preparation before the adventure continues.